Good morning. Morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookie Monsters. My name is PK. It is January the 23rd. It is a Tuesday. Just to orient yourself, I am glad to see you. Thank you for stopping by if you're watching it live. Thank you very much. If you're watching it in the reposting, thank you very much. I appreciate what you're doing. If you do like what you see, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and spread the word. We would love to have more people stop on by. Being Tuesday, we are going to be looking at the new releases of mysteries. Hi, Annalise. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Mary. Happy Tuesday. Indeed. Hope you had a good evening. I started a strange book. It came up on my library holds because the concept sounded intriguing. And I was waiting for the new JD Robb to release today, technically last night at 10 o'clock my time on Kindle, Random in Death. And it is different. You could term it science fiction. It is called 13 Ways to Kill Lulabelle Rock. And it is by Lucy Wolfe, I believe. And the concept is that somewhere in the future, we are able to make replicas of ourselves, clones, copies of ourselves, to help deal with the stuff you don't have time to deal with. And of course, it's rather expensive, so only the rich and celebrities are able to do this. And Lulabelle Rock is a celebrity, and she had created 12 replicas of herself. They're called portraits. And Maud Wolf, sorry about that. And she creates a 13th one. So here's 13 ways to kill the other 12, which is legal because they're considered property. You can't kill other people's portraits because that would be destruction of other people's property. You can't kill other people because that would be murder. You can eliminate your own portraits because they are considered property that you can destroy. And so this celebrity has decided she doesn't want them anymore. And so this 13th one is tasked to eliminate the other 12. And for instance, one version is the version to deal with all the parties, and another version is one to explore the artistic side that she never had time for. Another version is marrying the boyfriend that she left behind when she wanted to pursue fame. It's short. It's only 240 pages, but it's really kind of interesting. My tests have been oh no, it told me I had to be off thyroid minute. Oh no, man, I hate it when that happens. How are you supposed to know that without them telling? I tell you, we're going somewhere in a handbasket, and it's going to be bad. Yes. Oh, that sucks. I'm so sorry. So, new releases are being set into the wild this week. First one up is the one I started last night. Actually, I read the first chapter in an excerpt, and I'm very, very excited to be reading this. JD Robb, Random in Death. This is good question. 58th in series. God bless Nora Roberts. This is a future set police procedural. Jenna's parents had finally given in, and there she was at a New York club with her best friends, watching the legendary band Avenue A, carrying her demo in hopes of slipping it to the guitarist Jake Kincaid. Then, from the stage, Jake catches her eye and smiles. It's the best night of her life. It's the last night of her life. Minutes later, Jake's in the alley getting some fresh air, and the girl from the dance floor comes stumbling out, sick and confused and deathly pale. He tries to help, but it's no use. He doesn't know that someone in the crowd has jabbed her with a needle, and when his girlfriend Nadine arrives, she knows the only thing left to do for the girl is to call her friend, Lieutenant Eve Dallas. After everyone on the scene is interviewed, lab results show a toxic mix of substances in the victim's body, and for an extra touch of viciousness, the needle was teeming with infectious agents. Dallas searches for a pattern. Had any boys been harassing Jenna? Was she engaged in risky behavior or caught up in something shady? But there are no obvious clues why this level-headed 16-year-old, passionate about her music, would be targeted. And that worries Dallas, because if Jenna wasn't targeted, if she was just the random, unlucky victim of a madman consumed by hatred, there are likely more deaths to come. Excuse me. Um, 58th in series. It is set in 2061. Love, love, love series. You do have to read the first one, Naked in Death. And I would think technically after that you could read Out of Order. The first one, of course, is Nora Roberts. I mean, it's all Nora Roberts, but the first one, being Nora Roberts, has a little more element of romance than the others do. But you need to read that first one to understand the relationship with Rourke. Highly recommend that series. And she puts out 2 a year. Thank you, JD Robb / Nora Roberts. Brad Taylor, Dead Man's Hand. Featuring Pike Logan as he goes head-to-head with Putin's henchmen. To finally end the war between their nations, a rogue band of Ukrainian partisans known as the Wolves teams up with members of Russia's military intelligence to assassinate Vladimir Putin. But Putin is aware of the traitors in his midst and assigns the loyal commander of the Russian National Guard to root them out. It's a mission Viktor Petrov is expected to undertake after he prevents Sweden from joining NATO by assassinating a deputy minister of foreign affairs. After receiving intelligence about the threat in Sweden, the United States sends Pike Logan to identify Petrov's target, only for him to get caught in the crossfire between Putin's agents and the Wolves. When the smoke clears, Pike makes no effort to stop the Wolves on their ultimate mission, believing it just, until he discovers that their operation has unimaginable consequences. For Putin is preparing a devastating endgame, activating the Dead Man's Hand nuclear response that will launch Russia's missiles in the event of his death. He would do that, I'm sure. Bummer to say the least. Absolutely. Have to get okay from doctor to be off for that long. Yeah, even ask if they need to do this test because that's kind of ridiculous. We have to stay on top of this since it doesn't sound like those folks are doing things right. Good luck. If your doctor prescribed the test, you should have known you would need to be off. So exactly. It wasn't my primary doctor that ordered them. It was a surgeon. I would still be checking. You do have to be on top of it. They aren't trained like they used to be. The Missing Witness by Allison Brennan, a big name in both romance and mysteries. Sorry, copy was required. When a key witness goes missing, Quinn and Costa must find her before a killer silences her for good. Detective Kara Quinn is back in Los Angeles to testify against a notorious human trafficker, finally moving past the case that upended her life. But when the accused is shot in broad daylight, the chaotic scene of the crime turns up a few reliable bystanders, and one witness, a whistleblower who might be the key to everything, has disappeared. After another person close to the case is killed, it's clear that anyone who knows too much is in danger, and tracking down the witness becomes a matter of life and death. But as explosive secrets surface within the LAPD and FBI, Kara questions everything she thought she knew about the case, her colleagues, and the life she left behind months ago. Now, with FBI Special Agent Matt Costa's help, she must race to find the missing witness and get to the bottom of the avalanche of conspiracies that has rocked LA to its core before it's too late. The Busybody by Kemper Donovan. I must be in the mood for crime fighting and action because these are all kind of sounding good to me. The Busybody by Kemper Donovan. Veep meets Agatha Christie in this intelligent, wildly funny literary mystery for fans of Richard Osman, Anthony Horowitz, and Nita Prose. The host of the All About Agatha podcast injects podcast, that's the new hot topic thing, injects the spark and fizz of a golden age murder mystery into the present day as a ghostwriter is chosen to collaborate on a presidential candidate's memoir only to discover just how much trouble a smart woman with time on her hands can get up to. And then some blurbs. It's a dream assignment. Former Senator Dorothy Gibson, aka That Woman, is the most talked about person in the country right now, though largely for the wrong reasons. As an independent candidate for President of the United States, Dorothy split the vote and is being blamed for the shocking result. After her very public defeat, she's retreated to her home in rural Maine, inviting her ghostwriter to join her. Her collaborator is impressed by Dorothy's work ethic and steel trap mind, not to mention the stunning surroundings and one particularly gorgeous bodyguard. But when a neighbor dies under suspicious circumstances, Dorothy is determined to find the killer in their midst. And when Dorothy Gibson asks if you want to team up for a top secret, possibly dangerous murder investigation, the only answer is, of course. The best ghostwriters are adept at asking questions and spinning stories. Two talents, it turns out, that also come in handy for sleuths. Dorothy's political career, meanwhile, has made her an expert at recognizing lies and double dealing. Working together, the two women are soon entangling motives and whittling down suspects to the exasperation of local police. But this investigation, much like the election, may not unfold the way anyone expects. I don't know. To me, it really depends on whether there's activism in here, because that has no place in telling a story. They're trying to determine if I need thyroid removed due to a goiter. I suppose they have to be off the medication, but seriously, for 3 weeks, that's not going to be fun. Interesting first name, Kemper. Not sure I've ever heard it before. I don't think so either. Sounds too much like Thumper. Okay, Radiant Heat, Sarah Jane Collins. When a catastrophic wildfire suddenly rips through a woman's hometown, she thinks she is lucky to have survived until she finds a dead woman in her driveway clutching a piece of paper with her name on it. The blaze came out of nowhere one summer afternoon, a wildfire fed by blustering wind. Yet somehow Allison is alive. She rode out the fire on the damp tiles of her bathroom, her entire body swaddled in wet woolen blanket. I'm out. Fire is my fear ever since I was a kid. As flames crackled around her, the bitter char of eucalyptus settled in the back of her throat, each breath more desperate than the last. The wildfire that devastated the Victoria countryside Allison calls home sets in motion a chain of events that threatens to obliterate the carefully constructed life she is living. When Allison emerges from her sheltering place, she spots a soot-covered cherry red car in her driveway, and in it a dead woman. I question the survivability of a car in a wildfire if she was in that much danger. Allison has never met Simone Arnold in her life, or so she thinks. So what is she doing here? As Allison searches for answers across Australia's set in Australia, scorched bushlands, she soon learns that the fire isn't the only threat she's facing. Dot 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 dot. The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels by Janice Hallett. I want to check the date on this. I thought this already came out. Nope, we're good. All right, never mind. A whip-smart and fast-paced mystery, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. Author of the Twyford Code and the Appeal, about a true crime journalist who revives a long-buried case about a cult and finds herself too close to the story. Everyone knows the Angels of the Alberton Angels, the cult who brainwashed a teenage girl into believing her baby was the Antichrist. When the girl came to her senses and called the police, the Angels committed suicide and mother and baby disappeared. Now, true crime author Amanda Bailey is looking to revive her career by writing a book on the case. The Alperton baby has turned 18. Finding them will be the scoop of the year. But rival author Oliver Menzies is just as smart, better connected, and also on the baby's trail. As Amanda and Oliver are forced to collaborate, they realize that the truth about the angels is much darker and stranger than they'd ever imagined. And in pursuit of the story, they risk becoming part of it. I have the appeal on my TBR, and I don't really like that topic. Yeah, I don't know. No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. Three sisters, two murders, and too many secrets to count. 14 years ago, the Palmer sisters, Emma, Juliet, and Daphne, left their home in Arden Hills and never returned. But when Emma discovers she's pregnant and her husband loses his job, she has no option but to return to the house that she and her estranged sisters still own and where their parents were murdered. Emma has never told anyone what she saw the night her parents died, even when she became the prime suspect. But her presence in the house threatens to uncover secrets that have stayed hidden for years, and the sisters are drawn together once again. As they face their memories of the past, rivalries restart, connections are forged, and for the first time, Emma starts to ask questions about what really happened that night. The more Emma learns, the more riddles emerge, and Emma begins to wonder just what her siblings will do to keep the past buried, and whether she did the right thing staying quiet about what she whispered that night. No one can know. Stephen Hunter. Looks like this is a combination of three novellas. This is by Stephen Hunter, Front Sight. Collection of three interconnected novellas follows each generation of the iconic Swagger family. Grandfather Charles, Father Earl, and fan favorite hero Bob Lee. In The Night Train, Charles Swagger is on the hunt for notorious bank robber Babyface Nelson when he traces a tip to the Chicago stockyards. While there, he's brutally assaulted and discovers that the madman who attacked him is involved in a nearby narcotics ring with plans to spread its new drug to the residents of the disenfranchised 7th District of Chicago. Worse, this is no ordinary drug. It makes some users happy, drives others insane, and kills many of the rest. Will Charles be able to stop the ring before it's too late, or is he in over his head among the dark streets of Chicago? Earl Swagger investigates a violent bank robbery in Johnny Tuesday that left two dead and a fortune missing in small town Maryland. At every turn, however, he's met with silence and hostility from the townsfolk, which makes sense when he uncovers municipal corruption, working class exploitation, gang politics, jaded aristocrats, scheming gamblers, a hitman, a femme fatale, and a whole bunch of men with guns. Luckily, Earl has brought his own guns in this unputdownable noir mystery. Finally, in Five Dolls for the Gut Hook, a 32-year-old Bob Lee Swagger is back from Vietnam, nearly broken over good men lost for nothing. He's turned hard down that whiskey road to hell. Blah, blah. He's drinking. But one afternoon, he's wakened from his nightmares by two men with a problem, as nearby Hot Springs tries to retool its image from gambling paradise to family resort. A butcher has begun to prey on the city's young women, a figure straight out of a horror movie. Hot Springs homicide is baffled. I'm a sniper, says Bob, not a detective. But comes the reply, you are the son and grandson of two of the greatest detectives this state has ever produced. On that premise alone, Bob takes up the hunt for a killer who not only kills but desecrates. Using his sniper's mind, Swagger is able to see things others have missed, drawing ever closer to a showdown. But equally, we understand Bob Lee Swagger is hunting his own salvation. Sounds like a guy's book. The Clinic by Kate Quinn. A thriller set in a remote rehab clinic on the Pacific Northwest coast, in which the death of a woman inside prompts her sister to enter the clinic as a patient. Don't do that. In order to find the truth. Meg works for a casino in LA, catching cheaters and popping a few too many pain pills to cope, following a far different path than her sister Haley, a former actress. but suddenly reports surface of Haley dying at the remote rehab facility where she has been forced to go to get her addictions under control. There are whispers of suicide, but Meg can't believe it. She decides that the best way to find out what happened to her sister is to check in herself to investigate what really happened from the inside. Battling her own addictions and figuring out the truth will be much more difficult than she imagined, far away from friends, family, and anyone who could help her. That doesn't seem very smart. Nope, that's December. Let's go over here. We've only got a couple more minutes. We'll just take a look at covers of anything that might pop out at us. Karen Rose has a new one potentially. Beneath Dark Waters. A lot of the Harlequins are being listed here. Did that one. Did that one. Maybe check out that one. That one's old. Let's see what this one is. Lots and lots of blurbs there. Oh yeah, August of 2022. Not. All right. Let's do a quick sweep down here. Again, lots of the Harlequins are being listed that are coming out in February. They've been available on, if you read those, they've been available on the Harlequin website to read online there. But they are coming out for February. One more and then we'll call it a day. Oops, this is one. The Devil's Daughter by Gordon Greisman. He's an Emmy-nominated screenwriter. A noir thriller set in the best and worst of New York City in the 1950s. Most nights, P.I. Jack Coffee can be found hanging out in smoky Greenwich Village jazz clubs with well-known mobsters, jazzmen, and hoods. So when an uptown financier calls him in for a job, it seems like he's headed for tonier climes. But it turns out the view from Louis Garrett's lavish penthouse overlooks the same vice-ridden Manhattan streets, which explains why he's so desperate to find his missing teenage daughter, Lucy. When Jack's search for Lucy leads him to swanky nightclubs and packed with well-dressed pimps and wealthy drug dealers, he begins to wonder if Garrett is really concerned about his daughter's welfare, or if he simply fears she may reveal his own shocking secrets. After an attack outside Jack's own apartment and Lucy's boyfriend is found floating face down in the East River, the story kicks into high gear. All right. Bit of gritty noir. Good vibes to you, Kim. Yep, absolutely. Maybe you can ask what you can do to help in the next 3 weeks as you go off that to help. There's got to be something. Thanks, and hope to see you and Annalise later in Thunder Horse Descendant. Good luck, Kim. Sending prayers your way. Thanks, y'all. Absolutely. All righty. Well, thank you guys once again. We do have sprints tonight at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. They will go for 2.5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project. or just close your eyes after a day. Certainly okay. Anything. This is time for you to do what makes you happy. Um, Meantime, we have a day to get through. I hope you have a very good Tuesday. You're reading good books. Have a good day, everyone. And as the banner says here, oops, as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Om nom nom. Have a good day. God bless.